everyone. Welcome to a new episode of the United Theory. A British record transfer fee for a goalkeeper in 2011. More than 300 appearances for Manchester United. Sir Matt Busby Player of the Year for 3 times. The big question that has been making the headlines in the recent few weeks is it time for David De Gea to have more competition between the sticks at United? Or to put it in a better way, is it time to fast track the Three Lions keeper Dean Henderson as the number one at Manchester United? Joining me today at the United Theory are Shabazz, Sudhi, Musa, and Ankit. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me here today. Ankit, I'd like to start off with you. What are your initial thoughts about this topic that we are discussing today?
Firstly, hey there, everyone. So, according to me, I would definitely go with David De Gea for now. I know that Dean Henderson has been exceptional this year, and in fact, for the past 2 years now, and he's definitely going to take up the number one charge for Manchester United. But it should not be this year or the coming season. It would definitely be after that. So I would cut some slack to David De Gea and give him the opportunity to stick by the number one position for the goalkeeper of Manchester United for the coming season as well.
Okay, I'll come back to you. Shabazz, what do you make of this?
I feel De Gea's best years are behind him right now. He's done well in the past. He's won his Player of the Year awards. He's won us some trophies. He's done really well for us as a player, and he's a loyal servant to the club. But as everybody's time comes once in a while, I think it's time for him to step back, make Dean Henderson his understudy, and probably bring him up the ranks. And it's probably better if now Dean Henderson takes his gloves in the place of David.
So you certainly think that Dean Henderson should be coming in as number one next season. So I would like to know if Musa, if you support this decision or
not really, because I would give De Gea one more season, or at least half season next year. And I agree that he hasn't been up to his level this season, and he has been missing some sitters. And I would still give him a season, because we all know what his capabilities are and how good a player he can be. And he's only 29, and I don't agree that he's past his prime, because goalkeepers generally turn on when they're 30 or beyond 30. So I would just give him at least half a season and see how, maybe replace him with Romero in few games and see how he copes with the pressure of being number two, and if he picks up from there. So no, if he improves, all well and good, we can still keep him. He's a world-class keeper. So yeah, I would still give him at least half a season.
very interesting point you said over there, that you accept the fact that he's made some mistakes this season. Sudhi, what do you think of that?
Well, I think that Dean Henderson should be our number one next season. He's made far too many mistakes, over the last 2 years, starting from you can go back from the World Cup. So, and very basic mistakes like covering your near post and stuff like that. I mean, I agree that he was world class for us, and he has saved us from games numerous times. And 2015, 2016, De Gea was, I think, one of the best I've ever witnessed as a goalkeeper. But I think it's like Shabba said, it's time for him to actually face some competition. But according to me, it's gotten so worse that I think Henderson should be starting ahead of him.
In a discussion like this, it's very easy to go out of the line and, make our arguments very, let's say, vulnerable. So, Shabi, I want to bring a little bit stats to you, and picking up on what Musa said, De Gea has made 3 errors which have led to a goal this season in the Premier League, while Dean Henderson has just made one. So if you could elaborate on this fact and also complement it to the, let's say, what is a better competition for the goalkeeper? Is it De Gea and Romero in a team, or is it De Gea and Henderson? So can you complement these two facts?
This stat that he gave me, that it was 3 errors to goal. This is from the 1920 season?
Yeah, the current Premier League season up to games till game week 30.
Okay. So while we all know that how, let's put it rightly, how unfair it is to criticize De Gea, like some people think, let me put it forward that it's not just this season that De Gea has been bad, right? Because in the 2018-19 season, let me come with some stats to you with in an answer.
Okay.
In each for the 2018-19 season, if you compare Dean Henderson and David De Gea, even though they were, the competition that they were facing, the players that they were facing, the goals that they were conceding were miles apart in terms of quality. But in the 4,140 minutes that Henderson played, and compared to 3,420 that De Gea played, Henderson kept a clean sheet record of 21, and De Gea kept a clean sheet record of only 7 games. So the deterioration is not only this season. It's coming from the World Cup. It's coming from the past season. It will go on to the next season. It's a simple predicament right here that De Gea is no longer in his prime. Musa said that goalkeepers rightly get their prime from 30 to 34. That's in most cases. Well, if that was the case, then we could all be seeing Rooney in the midfield right now, but he isn't. How old is Rooney? 38, 32, 33? But he is not in our team anymore. Some people get their peak earlier in their career. Some people get their peak late in their career. Sadly, but unfortunately, I feel right now that De Gea needs some competition, at least something to get the fire going in his belly. But as of now, stats can be read out loud, but stats are not in De Gea's favor at the moment.
Sudhi, you want to add to Shabby's points?
Yeah, well, like you said, the 3 mistakes that he's done this season, I think one is from Patrick Van Holt, when he beat again the near post again. And the second one, I think the Watford one where he failed to catch the ball. And the third one where he kicked straight to Calvert-Lewin. And I could have added the fourth one in the recent game where he was beat by near post again. So it's like he's making these mistakes far too often for someone who's as good as him, So when you say De Gea, you expect him to make those saves, but like Chaba said, the stats are stacked up against De Gea right now, and I think Henderson is rightly knocking at the door, and he should be our number 1 next season.
Okay. Ankit, I would like to come back to you and see when we look at the save percentage between comparing De Gea and Henderson, it's not a difference between an ant and an elephant. We also have to account for the playing strategies that both these teams utilize on the field, right? We know that Sheffield United set up themselves a little more differently than United with a 3-5-2 formation, while we prefer to play a 4-2-1. So we always do have an additional person who can sit back and help the defense. Okay, how much does this weigh in this discussion, and what are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, sure, Ajay. So the demand and the concept of gameplay for both the teams are different. It can go hand in hand that Dean Henderson playing for Sheffield, giving us such amazing performances, might as well happen that it won't be the similar case in United, right? See, for we all know that Dean Henderson is the pretender for David De Gea in future. No one is denying that fact. All right. But as Musa had said, that he's still 29, and I too believe this, and in my general opinion as well, goalkeepers peak out during 29, 30, 31, and around. So definitely there is enough chance for David De Gea to rediscover his form and get back to what he was probably in 2015 or 2016 or 2017. Saying that his peak was during that time and he would never achieve his peak, again, that's a dilemma point of a thing, because that can be a doubt again, and you never know that when the peak can come back again. So for me, again, Dean Henderson is definitely the pretender. He's a successor coming up for David De Gea, and definitely he should be coming into the club next season to give ample amount of fight to De Gea for the number 1 position. But again, I would stick by and I would say David De Gea can definitely rediscover his form and get back to where he was, probably, or very close to what he was in his past.
I just wanted to come get in touch, get into this right now. I just wanted to ask Ankit, where do you draw the line? Okay, so when a player is not performing well, since when does a single player get a privilege over other players for being bad over 2 seasons? And I mean, I can give you stats out in there. I mean, even the 18-19 season, even the 19-20 season. A season is not yet done, but this season, a total of 17 points we have not been securing only because of David De Gea's errors. So just tell me as to why give him the privilege that you can give him a season, give him 2 seasons, all right, fine. But you give him a third season, by then I think no manager in the world, even though if he is a world-class player, everyone gets a little irritated with that.
Okay, if
The,
you
I
See
want,
mean,
again,
I'm talking about the privilege. I'm talking about the privilege. I'm not talking about anything else.
again, no one is trying to give him the privilege. All I'm trying to say, I'm actually supporting your cause by saying Dean Henderson should be coming to the club next season. I'm not the one who's again saying that he should be sticking by in Sheffield for one more season, keep him on loan. In fact, I'm saying he should come as a number two right now choice for United in the club. Give the fight to David De Gea for the next coming season, at least for the first few games, the first few months. And if the errors keep coming up, then definitely you can. There's all the chances in the world for the manager Ole to replace him with David De Gea. So I'm not even trying to deceive the point here by saying no, he's not supposed to come right now. He needs more game time or he needs to play in Sheffield more, because all in all, we know that if he sticks by in Sheffield for say one more season, definitely Chelsea is going to come behind. Definitely Paris Saint-Germain is what I heard that they're also coming behind Dean Henderson right now. So there are ample chances that he might switch on to a different club, which we don't want that to happen. So I'm saying, of course, he has to come. Stats are definitely against David De Gea. This is why Dean Henderson gets them a matter of doubt to come to the club, give David De Gea ample fight for the position, and if not for the coming few months, then definitely take over number one's position.
Musa, I want to bring you into this discussion, and I want to ask you two different things at the same time. The first thing is that there is a lot of it's a quite common saying in football. For goalkeepers, they age like wine. Okay, and it was very evident with us as it's with us itself. Like when we signed Wanderser, he was not the youngest around, and he developed throughout his period with us. The other point that Ankit and Shabi were just right now saying, having there, is it a hindrance for Henderson himself? Because will someone like Henderson be willing to come back to United and take the number two position, or will he be willing, you know, for a number one spot somewhere else? Because we
Very
have
good
to consider
question.
that as well. He's one of the good goalkeeping talents that has come out of the United Academy in the recent few years, right?
Brilliant question.
Yeah. So yeah, before coming to your question, a few things to add. So one thing is every player who has a career span of 10 years, 9 years, who has a long career is bound to have a dip in form. And De Gea is having that for maybe a last season and maybe a season and a half. And it's very unfair to say that it's his prime is over and you can't he won't be he'll be still bad next season. So you can't predict that, one thing. And one more thing is that you cannot compare a Rooney or a Van Persie to De Gea, because Rooney and Van Persie didn't have the legs to play Premier League games day in, day out, week in, week out. Whereas De Gea is not worn out. He's been inconsistent. So inconsistency and being worn out are two different things, right? So you cannot compare, I think, with a Rooney, a Rooney with a De Gea. And coming to your question again, before that again, one more stat I think Shabby had told regards to last season. So last season our defense was shit. So you cannot blame De Gea for every goal we have conceded, right? So we didn't
What
have
about
a
this
great.
season then?
Yeah, this season he made some errors. I agree, but
So
again, he still has got 10 clean sheets if you look at the stats. I mean, if just going by
even
stats.
last season, when you look at like the errors he made against Arsenal, if you remember Granit Xhaka, it was hit like
Yeah. So
by 40 yards
I'm
away.
coming to that. Sudeep. So what my point is, De Gea has set the bar so high that every single mistake of De Gea will be scrutinized, and sometimes it'll.
That's how exactly. That's completely right, and that's how big clubs should treat their
Yeah, I mean,
players. We have a bar to reach, and if there's a player who is not touching that bar, what do
yeah, I
you
do.
can't keep giving him chances season after season,
No,
right?
no, no, no. I totally agree. I'm not saying even if he's still making mistakes, you should stick by him. So at one end, he's missing some sitters. I do agree. And at one end, he's still making some extraordinary saves. So we shouldn't forget that, right? So obviously, if he's still making silly mistakes and making those very silly errors, like not covering the near post and all, he should be, at least give Romero a few games and let him know. You can let him know that, if you don't perform, you will be out of the squad. So you cannot straight away come, okay, let this guy's playing well, Henderson, let him replace De Gea. De Gea is a proven goalkeeper, and he has been consistently performing for us, consistently, saving us for 3-4 seasons when LVG was there and all that. So I'm not saying you have to stick by him just because of that, but just give the lad some time and see if he's still making the errors, replace him. And we all know how he was when he came to United first season. He was shit, and we didn't judge him too soon, right? We gave him time. So similarly, give him some time and see if he can turn it around.
And very interesting points that you just made over there. Shabby, I want to ask you another thing. When you look at United as a football team and the way we play, it's much more these days about short passes and playing out from the back all the way up to the front. The Gea has done this brilliantly for us. He averages at
Right.
least 10.5 short passes per game. And this has been an important factor for the way we move forward now. On the other hand, Dean Henderson, he doesn't. Sheffield, as a way they play, they're not much built on short passes. They are a team that works on long passes. And I think, if I'm not wrong, Henderson averages just 3 or 4 short passes per game.
Mm.
Is this something that Henderson can develop at United, or is this something that's he can just walk into and be fine with it?
No, I think if now that we have Harry Maguire in our team, even though he's not been up to the mark in the last 2-3 games, I feel that we can build up from the back. De Gea is not the best distributor of the ball, as we all know. Uh, but Dean Henderson is very promising from what I have seen in the Premier League this season. I have not seen him the season before this, but in the Premier League, he's performing pretty well. He's distributing the ball pretty well. His switching of the flanks when he gets the ball from his own defenders is pretty good, and I think it would be beneficial for United to build from the back because we've been missing that since I think the days of Alex Ferguson, and I think building the game from the back is very important for any football team in this moment. So I think Dean Henderson, as long as he does not have the same dip in form as you people keep saying, like if as long as he does not have that, I think we'll be much better off, as a football club. And the reason, okay, let me just put it out here. The reason that I'm saying why De Gea needs to sit back, I'm not asking him to get retired, and I'm not asking him to, like take the sack and go to some other club. I'm asking him to play the less important games. I'm asking Dean to play the more important games. Because while De Gea weans off into his and goes off into his sunset, we have a ready-made player then at hand who has Premier League experience as well. And also to one more point I wanted to put forward, that De Gea is not a good distributor of the ball. The amount of if you compare De Gea to Henderson, like what we are doing right now in this video, if you compare De Gea to Henderson, the amount of shots that De Gea has created only from his errors due to the passing around the box, which are 4 compared to Henderson's 1. So De Gea made 4 errors, which leads to shots right on goal. Whether they were converted or not, that is a stat that's yet to be seen. But these 4 shots in big games, it's a big difference. And now we still have a few games, a few cups left to play for. I hope De Gea's resurgence is there this season, but I don't expect it.
Okay, Sudhi, I'd like you to add a few points to this discussion.
Well, so many people think that Dean Henderson should not come to United next season, or he should not be the number 1. So I would like to ask, why is that? Because statistically, and if you see football yourself, you would know Dean Henderson is doing better than David De Gea. So his save percentage, I think compared to 71, I think Henderson's is 77%, if I'm not wrong. And he has a better percentage in close range shots, mid range shots, and long range shots. These 3 things are De Gea's, this is De Gea's bread and butter. So Henderson beats him on this. He beats him on one-on-ones as well, and even on the penalties. So he has done everything right to prove that he should be the number one for United next season, given how our goalkeeper is performing. So let De Gea be there. Like, some would say sell De Gea for 50, 60 million. I think that's a bit harsh. Let De Gea stay at our club. Let Dean Henderson be number one. Let him know that, there is someone who is doing better than you. Let him, from that, let him benefit from that and, continue to improve his form or get a better performance from De Gea. I think we have from Henderson every statistics to prove that he can be number one next season.
I'd like to just step in over here right now because, we're all entitled to our opinions. And if we keep doing this, it's never going to stop. And it's fair for each of us to have an opinion about the club that we support. So I think, we're out of time for our today's episode. So I would like to know your final opinions. And I'll just make it a little bit different this time than the usual people asking questions like, who do you prefer? I'm going to ask it in a different way. Dean Henderson is more of a modern goalkeeper in the fact that he's not standing behind the sticks always. He comes out, he punches the ball a lot, and he's more like an active person over there. But De Gea is a more static person at the goal post. He's only punched out the ball 11 times out of corners this season, while Dean Henderson has done that 23 times. So my question to you guys to end this discussion is, what kind of a keeper do you prefer at Manchester United? Do you prefer a modern type of football keeper, or do you prefer someone who is a bit more conventional? I'll start off. Musa, what's your opinion?
See, I mean, it's at the end of the day, it's about winning the games or keeping clean sheets, be it a modern keeper or a conventional keeper. So what matters is the result. And one more thing I have to add is that you shouldn't be blind by hatred or criticism. So if someone is doing not okay, we all agree it's not okay. But calling for someone's head, I think it's too early with De Gea, at least half a season more. And yeah, to answer your question, I would prefer any keeper, modern, conventional, any keeper who saves our, as. That's it.
Shabazz, your thoughts?
I would prefer Dean Henderson at United for number one in the next season.
I think you've been very clear about that throughout this entire discussion.
And also, I would like to agree to disagree, but it was a good banter, passion, and what was the other word that we used?
Privilege.
Privilege FC was very good. Thank you, guys. It was an honor.
Thank you, Shabazz. Sudhi, your final thoughts?
So, to answer your question, I would like a goalkeeper, like you said, modern and conservative, whatever. I would like a goalkeeper who can guard his near post, right? So at that moment, that would be Dean Henderson. And statistically, he is far superior and he has played much better than David De Gea this season. So I would put in Dean Henderson, and for next season, he's our number one.
All arrows point to Dean Henderson. If you want to win games, if you want to have a modern keeper, if you want to be statistically better off in terms of goalkeeping, but passion and privilege FC prevails. Please, Ankit, continue.
Track record also matters.
Ankit, your final thoughts?
Sure.
Banter and
Yes, Ajay. So I'll just cut it short. Playing for Sheffield and playing for United are two different things. We all want Dean Henderson to take over United's number one position in the upcoming years to come, and definitely he will. All I'm saying is De Gea is still 29, which Musa has already told, and there is an ample amount of chances that he can still rediscover his form. So going by that, I would still give De Gea some time and let him be the number one position for next season as well. But all in all, we all know that Dean Henderson is going to be the successor for David De Gea's throne. So yes, for me, yes, David De Gea will still be the number one goalkeeper coming up next season.
gentlemen, thank you so much for your time today. Guys, this is what we want to ask. Whom do you prefer at United, Dean Henderson or David De Gea? Please let us know in the comments below. If you like our content, like, share, and subscribe to our channel. We'll come back with another important discussion in the coming few days. Hoping to see you again with us. Thank you so much. We are the United Theory.